Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. This is Paul with Freight Connect. This is day 10 of readiness. And what are we getting ready for? We're working out. We want to get our mind right. We want to get our body right. We want to get the soul right. So that takes time. And we are on day 10. And I did go out and I did a run tonight. I was impressed. One, it was 31 degrees out. So it was not the best weather for a run. As a matter of fact, there were a couple of people out. They weren't running. And one comment, and he was like, "Man, more power to you." And it, when you allow certain things to seep into your mind, and you think that something is hard, it's going to be hard. There are things that are hard. There's no question about it. But some things can be harder just because of our mindset. But you know, every step that I made, it was progress. I did the flat first, and then I took the hill, and the hill, it was challenging. I got halfway. Well, actually, I ran to the base of the hill, and I decided to walk halfway. Then I ran the other half, and I was really sucking a lot of wind, but it felt good. The heart was pounding, kind of like it wanted to explode, but yet at the same time, it didn't feel like yesterday. It felt stronger than yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do leg workout. But today was good. Today was a good run. I didn't do it as long, but it was a good run. 31 degrees is challenging, and it's so I definitely understand why gyms are popular, even when it's nice out. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of pluses in going to the gym, but there's a lot of pluses in being outside. I think the weather, it plays with me some kind of way because it's harder for me to breathe when I'm outside working out. But I had a good workout, so I was really happy about that. Day 10. So working on the project. That's good. I had a factoring company call me today. We had great conversation, and they called me back and wanted to set a meeting here in about a week or so. And I'm supposed to meet with operations manager and vice president of something. I don't remember, but we're supposed to meet, and that'll be good, and see where we go. And there might be maybe 2 or 3 meetings coming up here with insurance agencies, ones that I've communicated with. So we'll see what happens there. I do have a scheduled meeting with the CDL school. So I'll be going and speaking at the CDL school again, and I'll be doing that this coming up week. And so we'll just continually pile things up like that. And they all are wanting to talk, because of the project that I'm working on. So they're very interested. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll just continue to move forward in that. It's like being out there running. It's every step, and it's like, I know that I'll be done once I get to this point as far as tonight's run, but I'm not there. So where I'm at is where I have to be. I can't make myself get there any faster. I can't make it any better. I can only do what I can do, right? And when I get there, I want to be, I guess you could say, ready to be done with the run. But I want to be able to be prepared when I go to these meetings. So whether the meetings happen or not, I still need to prepare. Whether you get that load or not, a lot of us might be waiting for that load to come through, or want someone to put a load in our hand. I've had that a lot, where someone would want the load. This is what they would want. They'd ask me, what do I do? I help carriers get loads, and I get loads for them, and then they don't know what to do with it. They weren't prepared. And so that's why we went to training. And those that went through training, those were the ones that were better prepared. Those were the ones that had a mind shift change. I was looking back on some old videos, and man, you don't know. I'm not saying this in a selfish way. I want you to understand this to the point where you can use it for yourself. Sometimes you don't know how good you are, or sometimes you don't know, like when you're in the moment, sometimes you don't, that you always hear sports athletes and other people say, or on the red carpet, I want to be present, right? I want to absorb this. I want to remember it. I want to enjoy it. I want to appreciate it. And so when you're doing things, sometimes you don't, you really don't, you don't document it. You don't, maybe you go on vacation, you take pictures and you look back and you see that you had a great time, right? But there are times where you're doing things and you're doing some great work. You're doing some really, really good work. I don't know. I hope this is on. Looks like it might be. I don't know if the audio's on here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's on. Any rate, you're doing some really good work. Whether it's, let's just say with your trucking company. I'm not even going to call it in the zone. It's just that you're putting out some good stuff. You've got your employees. It might seem a little challenging to you, but you're making it happen. You guys are progressing. You guys are doing really well. You know, that doesn't mean that everything's perfect, but people are getting along. You had a really good month. You want to be able to bottle that up. You want to be able to um, produce that again, multiply that. And it doesn't always go that way. And that's okay, right? But you have to appreciate what you had been able to accomplish and that you can do it again, right? You have to look and say, hey, these are the things that I did really well. These are the things that really um, worked for us. These are the things that didn't, you know, but let it take 10 years or a year or two before you look back. I think it's a good practice, which I need to practice this, is to look back, maybe reflect at the end of the day, right? Reflect on the day, see what the day brought, good, bad, and different, and be able to write down the wins, the challenges, and then, what you're going to do that is going to incorporate what are you going to incorporate that's going to better your situation, better your people, because every day we go through a day, right? We've got some good stuff, we got some challenging things, but in the evaluation of it all, we can utilize that for better, right? Because the challenges that we go through, they're stepping stones, they're learning opportunities, right? It just depends on what we do with it. I don't want to come off sounding like I'm preaching or trying to tell anybody what to do. These are just things that go through my head that I tell myself, or remind myself. So yeah. So in looking at it, man, this stuff that I'm working on, it may not mean anything to anyone, and that's fine because what it is what it is. But there's a lot of hard work that I've put into it, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm trying to appreciate it at every point. And every time I check it out, I'm like, okay, this is good, but you have to appreciate the things that you do, because not everyone can do what you do, you know? So, yeah, definitely be thankful for that. Always be appreciative, always be thankful, always be grateful. Yesterday was Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. So I don't know if they still talk about it. I mean, the Monday is going to be the official observation. So a lot of things are going to be closed. Okay. So then you're you're not going to, I guess the banks are closed and another federal whatevers are closed, but it used to be thought of as the day of service, right? That is, how do you serve others? Um, there is a speech, a sermon that he had, which was, I believe it was his last sermon before he was um, before he was killed. It's called "The Drum Major Instinct," and I really, 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 really do like that speech. So if you guys get a chance, you could check that out. I'm sure you could check it out in manuscript, or you can check it out or transcript. Is that what I'm trying to say? In writing, or you can hear the speech. There's some that you'll listen to that you can pull up, whether it's YouTube or whatever the case is, and it might not be the full speech. It'll sound like it, but it's been edited. But the drum major instinct, which is always wanting to lead, having that mentality of being in front. But, he talks about what great really means, you know, and it's a really good, I think anyone should hear that speech. But at any rate, um, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your evening. It's Friday. I mean, these days come. Last Friday, I thought Friday was Tuesday or Wednesday. Actually, I don't know where my days went. Even this week, feels like today is Wednesday. Um, I think if I just take a day off and really break, maybe the days will catch up with me, and or I'll catch up with the days, and and yeah, and then we can get more work done. All right. So whatever you guys do, be safe, be warm, and look out for others. And we'll talk to you next time. God bless.